Welcome everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about the book The One Thing, The Lies, Everything Matters Equally. This is a series where I explain the book named The One Thing. You know how people say that all tasks matter equally? Well, that's not true, and it can really mess up your stress levels and productivity. So here's the truth. We often fool ourselves into thinking everything we need to do is equally important. We make these long to-do lists and treat every single task like it's a top priority. But in reality, this just makes us tired and stops us from doing any real tasks that actually matter. Think about it. Do you ever feel tired while trying to check off things from a to-do list? You might spend hours and hours and hours on small tasks just to feel productive, while totally overlooking the tasks that actually matter and that can actually make your day productive. Picture a student who's spreading their study time equally across all subjects. Instead of putting in the effort in those subjects they need improvement in, they just end up tired and unprepared for exams. This is exactly what happens when we think everything's equally important. Now, let's introduce the 80-20 principle. This idea tells us that 80% of the results typically come from just 20% of our efforts. For instance, in a business, around 80% of the sales usually come from the 20% of the clients. If you spend time treating every client the same, you could be wasting time and energy. The trick is to figure out which 20% actually matters and focus on those. Or another example may be in an exam, 80% of the marks can be achieved by 20% of the curriculum. We just have to look for that 20% part. Now, the question arises, how can you use this to your advantage? Start by pinpointing that one task on the list that's going to have the most significant impact. Knock that out first, and you'll find the rest of the tasks easier or even unnecessary. This whole idea leads us to the domino effect, which is super important in The One Thing. Picture setting up a line of dominoes and nudging the first one. The initial push creates momentum, knocking over the rest with more and more energy. That's how tackling your top priority can lead to bigger wins. Now just imagine if you had started from the other side, knocking the biggest to smallest. How long would it take? To find the one thing, ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do that everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? This question really helps you see which tasks matter most. Now, here are some tips to put this into action. Number 1. Figure out your core task. Write down everything you need to do and see what could make the biggest difference. Then pick that. For example, if you're setting up a new online business, instead of getting caught up in perfecting your website design, social media presence, and product description all at once, focus on getting your main product or service ready first. Once that's solid, the other pieces will naturally fall into place. Another example may be in home organizing. Rather than trying to declutter every room simultaneously, tackle the space you use the most, like your kitchen or workspace. Getting this key area organized creates momentum and motivation for organizing other rooms. Number 2. Learn to say no. Ditch distractions that don't help your main goal. Saying no to less critical stuff is key. For example, if you're working on a big project, turn down invitations to meetings that aren't directly related to your main goal. While these meetings might seem important, they often just take up time and you could drift away from the most priority task. Number 3. Batch similar tasks. If you have little tasks, group them together and set a specific time to tackle them so they don't interfere with your priority work. For instance, instead of checking emails all day long, pick a time to respond to them. This way, you stay focused on what really matters without constant interruptions. Let's go through what we learned today. The idea that everything matters equally is a total myth. Figure out your key task, focus on it, and you'll see better results with way less efforts. The 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle states that 80% of the results come from 20% of efforts. We took an example of a student giving equal priority to every subject. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.